What's everybody? Well, blah blah blah. Hey, let's go. You know, I'm gonna leave this in there. Fuck it. Artisan Dev Podcast. What's up, y'all?
What's up?
This is your mysterious voice behind the microphone, Devlin, and special guest host of the Coast to Soul Poetry Night, Artisan Depth episodes, Emily Lopez.
What's up?
What's going on? We have a fantastic guest on the show tonight. It's awesome. How do you pronounce your name? Because I've heard Alyss, Alyss, and two other kinds that I can't remember.
Who's calling you
I've gotten
Alyss?
so many different ones. Everyone. It's Alyss.
Alyss, welcome, Alyss.
Thanks.
She is the featured poet tonight for our Coastal Soul Poetry Night at Proletariat, Galveston. It's going to be on the Come through. It's
Even
on the
though
corner of
you'll hear this
23rd
after.
Market Street, downtown. It is it's a fantastic night. It's been going on for almost. Did we hit 2 years yet?
2 years in March.
This month?
It's March.
Yeah.
It is March.
Shit.
2 years. When is that?
2
What are we doing
years and
for
2
that?
weeks. Zach Blunt's going to come through. He is going to host. And we have Ryan McMasters from the Houston poetry community that's going to come and feature for us. And hopefully Alyss is there.
I should be. It's Ryan. I have to be.
And everybody else that, we have a lot of really amazing poets that go in between both locations now for Coastal Soul and Right About Now and even the Houston VIP Slam team. And we've had a really diverse selection of features coming from all spectrums as well. And it's kind of just amping up for 2019. And Zach coming back to host for the anniversary show I think is a super big deal. And he's going to be on... after that on here, so you can check him out here and everywhere else. And I'm just shameless plugging Zach because that's my guy.
Shout out Zach Blunt.
Zach Blunt.
To be soon future guest on the show. Well, Alyss, how'd you get started doing poetry?
So I used to write like in high school, but it was absolute garbage because I was just a melodramatic teenager.
As we all start.
Yeah, I used to write, and then I took like a really big break for a while. And I think a couple years ago, I broke up with this guy 2 days before New Year's and laid in bed crying and managed to write a piece and then performed it the next week. So that kind of got me back into it.
That's a pretty awesome way to start the new year.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I'm sure at the time, it's a hurdle. But once you get past it though and you overcome, it's like it's fantastic.
Yeah, now it's more of a blessing in disguise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Don't look at me.
So how long ago was that?
That was like 2015 or 14, I think. 2015. Yeah.
So that's when you really got started moving and taking it seriously, kind of, and producing.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I wrote something that I didn't think was not good. So it was like the first time my words made sense and it actually like portrayed some sort of message.
What was one of the pieces that did it for you that like you read it, you finish it and you look down at it and all artists, could probably relate to this moment where you look down at it and you're like, I'm pretty damn good at this.
I think it was that one. Because it was one of those things where like it happened like immediately. Like I hung up the phone with this guy and laid there and was upset and wrote this whole thing out and then thought this isn't bad. And I think I wrote it in like 10 minutes.
Yes.
It was very quick and
yeah.
I was just like, I should do this. I should do this.
More, yeah.
The energy is really like rich in those situations, and if you can find a way to tap into it, because whether it's because you're upset or sad or angry, it's still a lot of energy. So whenever you channel that, you can just do a lot real quick.
Yeah.
So I think it's how sports
Spit it
players
out.
use it too. Yeah, you get in that zone, you're just just got to channel that. Is someone knocking?
No, man, it's your creaky ass.
Yeah, I do have a creaky ass floor. For those that don't know, this is an old house we are doing this podcast out of, and we have creaky floors.
It's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
Artist round table.
It's cold though.
I'm better now.
Well, do you have some? Would you have some questions for Alyss?
Well, what I really like to talk about is, outside of when you started writing again, how did you get introduced to the Right About Now scene?
So I think it was...
That's how I met you and saw you.
It was a few years ago.
To come and listen to you and check you out and invite you here.
Oh man, I think it was like...
Did it coincide with that?
No, it was a couple years before that. I think it was like 2013 maybe. And it was a few months before my birthday, and I had been introduced to like the slam, I guess, scene by watching like button poetry videos. And so Neil Hilborn got posted for I don't remember the name of the piece, but it's like his really well-known piece that like Button blew up with. And one of my friends had showed it to me, and I was like, man, this is really good. Like, this made me feel things. Like, I cried watching this. And then I had been searching. I was like, well, maybe he'll be coming into Houston at some point. And when I went and searched for it, I saw that he was going to be at Juan. And so I had never been to Juan. I had never heard of it. And I found it. I bought tickets right away. And I was like, I'm going to do this for myself for my birthday. So I went. And then I kind of got hooked after that. So I went back for Lacey Roop. And then after that, I just kind of kept going. And then eventually wrote something.
I think we both come from far away and agree that it's well worth it.
Oh, yeah, definitely
Without
worth it.
Doubt.
I owe a lot to them. And I try to help them as much as I can.
Yeah. Show up, give gratitude through presence. Definitely. That's cool. So Omer, he's been on before as one of our features, and he's featured as part of the Slam team before when Zach has hosted. And how did you know him? Because I know you guys are really close.
So I met
homies.
I met Omer like just a couple years ago. I think it was when I was competing for Women of the World to like represent Juan. I think like a few maybe weeks before that, maybe like the month before, he randomly came up to me and was like, hey, are you reading tonight? And I was in a bad place, and I was like, no. And he was like, why not? And I was just like, I don't have anything worth reading. And he was like, I love your work. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? So it started off as like this whole like almost fangirl situation where I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And then Omer won't let me not read. So whenever I show up, he's the one that's like pushing me to keep doing it or keep writing. Even when I'm like, this is trash, I hate it.
And he does that with himself too, I really think.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Omer.
I have to yell at him sometimes.
Yeah. And his like shout outs. He's like, you can't. When we did his, he's like, you can't find me on social media. It was like, how do we find you?
That was
He's
actually
like,
the first
"You
time
can't."
I got that answer. I was like, where can we find your stuff, man? He's just like, you can't. And I was like,
You can't buy my book. You can
Omer's
come
ridiculous.
through, but you're not going to hear this podcast in time for my feature. Like,
He is quite the character, man. Like, he's got some responses sometimes.
it's my favorite, but he really does push himself, and I feel like a lot of people in that scene only inspire others to do that more and more.
Yeah.
I host here, so it's like, okay, I'm hosting, and I do take that seriously, but I do a lot of that for other people. So when I go to Right About Now, it's like, that's my time to go for me, my poetry, you know, and it's such necessary exposure.
Yeah.
You know, being submerged here, you know, all the time and coming up. And it's a whole different experience with, you know, the Houston Poets. And I think it's really amazing when we can experience that too. And everybody comes down and it's only gotten it's only flourished more. And big things are happening. So thank you, by the way, for coming.
Yeah.
I don't think I said that. I normally like to be like, thank you so much.
Yeah, I was
I
nervous.
gave an intro
I'm
to
here.
you. No, that's okay. I never know if it's going to be like smooth. I just talk. I'm doing it now.
yeah, you just gotta keep rolling. That's all it is. I mean, you guys are poets. You guys are good at what you do, and that's talking.
I'm like way better at like thinking I should have written it or said it and then forgetting to or doing it later and it's not as good.
Yeah, I
feel
feel
like
that.
that's more like a poetry. You're on my third version by the time I think it's like okay.
Word. Well, you got to revise and go back. I mean,
the best version, like
I mean,
really is.
I mean,
fleeting.
I would eventually, try to find that point, and learn to love your art, when it gets to a certain point, like when you're done, because I know a lot of people never say it's done when things are done, or or you're just like barely done just because they just don't like it. That's when you just gotta put it down for a little bit, go do something else,
refocus.
Yeah, and then come back to it, and you're like, oh, I have half done art projects all around this house. That closet is full of them.
I believe you.
But I really like just having them there because I used to throw things away, and that
like get frustrated and throw it away, or more
I get frustrated, get tired of it, or think it's not like good enough and just throw it away. And then way down the road, this happened on multiple occasions because as an artist in life, you have, even if they're small things, even if things you write on napkins, you have hundreds, if not thousands, of little pieces you do.
All over the place.
So, but I was thinking back, and I had a random thought because like you get like deja vu or something. But I had a random thought where I was just like, "Oh, this would be really good to do to this painting." I threw away.
Yeah.
I've done that with poems before where like I
yeah.
have different notes and then I'm like, oh man, I could put this and that, and then it's
Yeah,
like a
and
whole section and then I go back and it's not there.
I go to
It's
search
like,
the one word I was sure it was in those two sentences and I can't find it. Yeah, it's sad. That's super sad.
Yeah.
My every time, and I've gone through like 3 iPhones in 3 years, and every time, you know, like when you get a new phone, I don't know how it is with Androids. I don't know if anybody has an Android here. Anybody?
we don't believe in androids.
That's great. Okay. Cool. I've had cell phone conversations, and it's like politics now. Like, oh, be talking about that shit if you don't really want to get into it. It's crazy. But like on an iPhone, you know, then when you like get a new one and you're just watching, and I'm like watching, and I'm watching, I'm like my notes. I'm watching my notes, and I'm waiting for those little numbers and my little folders and all my little categories of how I've put everything to come back, and hopefully I saved it right in my iCloud, because if I didn't, I'm fucked.
Oh yeah, when I got this phone, I freaked
I'm
out.
2,000 notes out, and like.
What kind of computer do you have?
I would have preferred them to sit there for 5 years more that I didn't do with them than just lose them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, normally I'd just be putting them like onto a tablet or whatever my laptop is, and I couldn't tell you that. You just talk to my man. I don't know. I'm not a technology person like that. Like, I had an Android forever years ago and broke it, and someone had an iPhone and they gave it to me for free, and I've been on an iPhone ever since. And like, that's just how that happened. Not because I know about things.
I just have all the things that connect to it. I got the MacBook, the phone, and the tablet. You know, so but they're all the same thing. You know, like
that sounds exhausting. You got that watch thing?
Well, no, hell no.
Someone the other day, someone was calling me, and their phone was like,
you know,
same distance. It was really.
You know, I really don't like to follow, you know, like famous people exactly.
I don't like to spend money
but
on things I already
but
have.
the thing is though, the reason I say that is so like I got that from Elon Musk, you know, the owner of Tesla and them. But he was just like a lot of people ask you're a billionaire and you're not wearing a flashy watch. Why don't you wear a watch? And he's just like, he's like, no, he was just like, if I need to know time, I'll just look at my phone.
It's true though.
And I was just
Too
like,
much.
and I was like, why would I want the phone? Because you know, I have the computer to do my podcast and do my big things.
Yeah.
You know, you got your phone for your cell phone, but that tablet I used to do like electronic drawing.
Yeah.
You know, and because that's something nowadays that's making graphic design a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like
especially when you're like busting out commissions and SketchUp.
Well, it's what like a lot of
mock-ups.
Like physical artists, you know, I've wanted for a long time because, you know, graphic design came out. You know, there's graphic design artists that can just play with shapes and stuff and make really cool shit. But I can't do that. I can just draw it right. You get close and you get all the bass and voice right here.
I don't know why we're not instructed to just.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have fucked with that.
Yeah. What was I talking about? What were we talking about?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Yeah. Well, I was talking about watches. So I mean, if it has a use it. But I mean, you know, I'm super young. I get a lot of shit from it from people that are older than me.
Watches?
No, just about. I've had like an iPhone since 8th grade. So that's a long time. That was like 2007. So like I just can't change. I don't know.
Okay, I graduated in like 06. I did not have an iPhone.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know, only because I don't know when I get a lot of shit. You ever get shit from like Android users or like people try to flex? Even Apple users, I don't even flex on any of them.
I had a friend that used to always give me shit for having an iPhone, and then a couple months ago he went and got an iPhone.
Yeah, man.
And I was just like,
They're
I don't
dealing
understand.
With some crazy shit.
Androids are
just
too much for me.
I have tried to use my husband's. We same phone account, same lines together. We pay together. We got different phones, and I'm not even fucking with that.
No. You know what I'm saying? It was for use. For use.
It's the only way I can say it. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. How did we start talking about cell phones?
I don't know.
I think that was me. I apologize, everyone.
We just turned into Facebook.
No. Well, what I wanted to ask was, we do a part on the poetry episodes. You know, if you'd like to spit a piece, and if you had a favorite piece you'd like to speak.
It's like really like, will you, not if you want to.
Oh no! I have one.
I'm just joking. I'm a big ball buster.
It's one of the ones I am doing tonight.
I've been trying to prep for this. Like, I try to be like, hey, by the way, you know.
Well, Omer had told me to. Omer was like, he'll probably ask you to do a piece. And I was just like, oh, what do I do? And I literally decided when I was sitting in my car earlier.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
It can be what you're doing tonight.
I'm trying to figure out if I need to give any like little background story on this.
You
You
most definitely can and should if you like.
It's like one of those things that I feel like it's kind of hard to explain.
Bring me the ebook, girl, like version.
But most of my pieces kind of like revolve around mental health.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think that's why I managed to write so many things, but it's also why I struggle to write sometimes. And this was one of those pieces where like I was stuck in like this really bad place and I couldn't get out of it. And when I wrote this one, it was almost like it gave me a little bit of freedom afterwards. So like most of my stuff, when it's sad, yeah, it's super, super sad. And you probably want to cry a little bit. But when you get to the end of it, there's always like a slightly positive ending.
You have most definitely made me cry before. And I'm that chick, like I said, because I'm like one of those bad drunks too. Like, so I'm, I take breaks here and there where I just don't drink for a while. Because
I cry at one at least once or twice.
I will probably cry at least once of open.
I think Omer made me cry last time we were out here.
All of y'all. But, sorry. I feel that. That's real. That's like, if I shed a tear.
We do what we can. It's just nice to know that you can relate to things that other people are going through.
I feel like it's nice to, I feel like there's so many more people that are like really parallel to all of that kind of deep, dark shit than anything else. Like,
yeah.
We don't
fucking
think about it. People don't want to be like, yeah, me too. But that's why we got all these people who come who will never speak, who, professionals and this and that. Like,
there's just comfort in knowing that someone else is feeling that.
And that's still an outlet, whether you partake and, you write something or not, like listening to it, giving into the energy of it, showing up, paying to support it. I feel like all of that shows that you need it just as much as the people who are speaking it.
Yeah.
And we're all like... like that's a thing more often than not. That's all I'm saying. So give me all that sad stuff.
Yeah, bring it.
Crispy girls.
What is this one even called? Oh, okay. So this is it's literally just called Lonely. I have the hardest time trying to like name things. I try to.
I never have name poems. I've never even tried.
I never have names for any of my art pieces. They're like, what is this? I'm like,
I don't know.
What does it look like? Yeah.
It's a painting.
Mm-hmm.
No, but this one's called Lonely, and it's just I was in a dark place, and it helped me through that. In the past few months, I've found new ways to embrace all of my lonely. I have given him my heart and my body, even offered him my bedroom, allowed him to move in with me. Our relationship has been moving too fast for me to take any steps back. It's like a wildfire, too intense to slow down, wiped out entire neighborhoods, and when I quit talking to my friends, he holds me tighter. Sometimes it feels like I'm choking on his smoke. Loneliness cares not about the lives he's uprooted or the ones he has taken. He's taught me so much since last May, since I tried to cure my irregularities with medication, like how I'm constantly searching for purpose in a man, or how I let this anxiety get the best of me literally every day. Like right now, he says no one is even listening to me anymore, and I swear I can see your eyes glazing over. He's teaching me how effortless it is to be so committed to him when he just keeps growing on me. My best friend says he's just playing tricks on me, and I'm feeling like a house turned ashes. He always tells me this is how I was intended to be, a mess nobody has time for these days, dependent on him for comfort, dependent on him to be rebuilt, even when I am surrounded by those that care, those that come prepared with tools and fire extinguishers. He says I don't deserve them. He says the only safety I have is this bed, this darkness, this room I can't get up to clean. He says the mess makes it harder for me to leave him, and he likes that. He feels sad when we are apart. So I can't find it in myself to let him go. Even as I am suffocating, every exit is going up in flames, and I haven't called anyone to save me this time. Can't find it in myself to see my friends or make it to work. I can't even find it in myself to keep writing this, yet here I am, choking on smoke again, waiting for every success I've had to catch his flames. Self-destruction looks a lot like emergency dispatchers with no calls. And isn't it funny how I've learned isolation so well? Don't I make it look so pretty? Hurting smells like my own flesh ablaze, and it's a fire I can't seem to put out anymore. I'm fine. I'm just tired. I'm fine. I'm just tired. I'm fine. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of fighting all these fires. Yeah.
Blow that smoke out.
Man.
Yeah, it's an intense one, but it's one that always makes me feel better.
Like, I'm really excited to hear the poems after we have our when the episodes come on, because it's just super intense. It's really intense hearing it like this. How does it feel hearing yourself?
It's weird hearing myself
Yeah.
like in my own ears in real time.
It's a thing. I actually don't listen to my, like, I'll get annoyed. I'll be like, babe, I can't listen to it. Tell me if it was okay.
With the podcast episodes?
Yeah, I know right now I don't like my voice.
You know, if you just like force yourself to sit through it.
You have
it's
got
not that
that
bad.
cool beatnik, like, 70s guy.
Ooh.
Yeah, like, no matter what I say, that's cool.
It's
I
not
feel
no
like I'd
matter
probably
what.
listen
Cool.
to it because my
No,
voice is
I
like
make
normal.
it like you can approach all topics with like that.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
mostly
know.
just from the editing. You know, it's just you just sit there
Yeah.
and just listen to it, but it's cool.
You train yourself.
Helps with memory, y'all. I appreciate that. Listen
That
to yourself
is
more.
cool.
You remember things because you said it.
It's that
nice.
threefold method.
Yes. It's like taking
say
notes.
it, listen, say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach Blunt's been trying to get me
It's a
to do that with my
thing.
pieces
Yeah,
so that I
like,
can memorize them.
Yeah, just get super repetitious.
I get so nervous
I can't
though.
do it. Yeah, that's so funny. That's why. So Omar was sitting in the front last week at Right About Now's event, and he was just looking right at me when I was like, "Yeah." So on the way over here, I was trying to get better at memorizing my piece, and Omar was like, "But I didn't. I didn't do that. I did not." So I'm gonna read from my phone now. And I think tomorrow night will be the same. I don't feel bad about reading from my phone. And surprisingly, he's the same person who tried to make me not feel bad for that. And he's also like, I'm looking at you waiting for you to memorize a poem. Also partner piece, like there's...
I feel like people just expect us to have it memorized.
It's difficult.
Which like I would like to. Ideally, I would want to memorize my pieces, but I have a really hard time like actually memorizing them. And then like even if I do have it memorized, once I get up there, I'm just like, oh no, I can't do this. Yeah, I get way too nervous.
Me too. I feel like I like get stuck somewhere in here where it just doesn't come out right. And like,
then
my
you're just
brain
like,
is saying it. I'm totally saying it like up there. In my head, it's a wonderful poem.
So I guess for the listeners and other poets that might be listening, what could be something y'all would say that y'all do that y'all try to channel when y'all get on the microphone? Because you know it's a totally different feel than when you're watching someone and then you're up there. It's like astronomically different.
I feel like it's definitely
Especially for some people.
Picture everybody in their underwear scenario, like.
Yeah, that never worked.
No,
I don't understand
I don't know if I've
that.
ever even actually done it, but I feel like it's super stereotypical advice. I don't know. You feel that one first.
I think for me, like the only thing that made me like get comfortable with it is just the fact that I know so many people when I go up. So it's not as bad as it could be, but then also like I know those people and I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, they're judging me right now. So, but I don't think like the nerves ever really go away. Like I think that's always going to be there. And like Io told me that it never goes away. Because I had asked him, like, the first time I went up, I was like, does it always feel like this? And he was like, yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Get used to it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
this is normal.
Do you feel like you're excited, like when you're getting, like you write a poem, you're going to open an open mic, you're good, but then you get up there and it's like, never mind.
I'm always hella pumped when I go up there. And then, like, I either come down and I'm like, damn, that was terrible. Or I'm, like, still super pumped and I'm, like, shaking and I have, like, this rush going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one or the other. There is
like
no in
you fell
between.
and just hit the ground and you got to get up and kind of discombobulate. Discombobulated.
Yeah, I have to, like, pull myself back together.
Mm-hmm. And that's always when people want to talk to you.
Yeah, and I'm just like...
It's a thing. How do you feel when you read poetry?
Man, well, I do. Whenever I have to get in like public situations, especially like with the first episode when we recorded here, I was like nervous because so that's how I can understand. Even in here when nobody's watching, it's still like because you're being recorded. But I actually had to jump in the pool whenever Sharika Jackson Poetry Live.
Oh yeah. She called you out.
Yeah, she totally called. I was just refilling her water. That's all I was doing. She totally called me out, told me to get on stage.
I think you know what? Everybody loves her so much. She is just so amazing. Her energy is super intense.
She's literally the nicest person.
You can't just help but get lit when you see her. It's crazy,
yeah.
and I love that. And I think we talked about this on our last podcast.
Yep.
I told her, I sent you a
She's
message.
awesome.
I was like, we love you. We're talking about you.
Yeah, her episode was super cool, and she's just she has a lot of life, a lot of soul in the poems, and but my favorite part about just her journey as a poet is like how long she like stopped and then she came back to it,
Yeah.
because she probably was probably thinking about it here and there, and something maybe you want to do, but it's just when you just jump in and it's kind of like getting up there on the mic, it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna jump in, whatever, and then
you gotta do it.
Yeah, and I kind of just whatever I think about whenever I get up there, I kind of think, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but I kind of think of myself as like a school teacher, and that makes me feel better for some reason because I'm up there. Well, I just copy what a teacher does because I don't know, as an only child, like I always like observed. I'd be at the place with my parents, like not really talking to anybody, so I sit there and watched people for like a long time. But like in school, for sure, I'd sit there and watch, and I see how the teachers cope with it. I'd ask my teachers weird questions. I'm like, how do you like not get nervous up there? And they're like, and they're like, well, because even when I play music, like on like when I used to play music on stage like a long time ago, 2011. I just joined a band recently.
I was gonna say, weren't you at like band practice last week?
We've been playing. We have a show on the 16th at Acadia. It's my first time like playing on stage in a long time. But even before that, I was always, even as a kid, I've always, because I was watching MTV when it was
MTV.
When I was a little kid. That's all I would fall asleep to when I was a baby. My dad would just put that on.
Family shows.
Yeah, but I don't know, like just I always thought of it as a performance, when the teacher was up there, and I was like, how do you do that? And she was just like, well, just like make sure you're looking at everybody, look around the room, like don't keep a smile on your face, like bring an energy.
Yeah, no direct eye contact. Watch out.
No direct eye contact? Oh.
No, I really, have you ever looked directly at someone in the poem?
Yeah, I've done it before.
I mean, I feel like if they're like, there's a few people I know that like are a part of my poetry insinuations. So like my mom and kids and normal shit that people might include in their things. But I don't think I've ever, I'm really weird about eye contact. Like, don't be making eye contact with me unless certain situations. And that's a conditioning thing. So I don't know if I necessarily do it when I'm on stage. When I'm on stage, I feel like, it's similar. You say you feel like you're acting as a teacher. It reminds me of like when I would raise my hand in class because I was totally cool with being the first person to read. I always wanted to read, and I raised my hand and I'd read. And then when she was like, okay, Amy, because they just couldn't pronounce Amelie when I was a kid. It's ridiculous. So they'd call on me and they'd be like, yeah, read first. We know you love to read. And then I'd feel super sick and nervous. Like, I'd be like, cool, never mind. And I did that my entire life in school. Like, I would be in math class and everything. I was always like, I know. But then I was scared to be like, I know. Like, let me just know that I know. It was like a thing. And when I get on stage, I feel like that. Like, I post and I do my host thing and I mark it and I talk and I do this. And I get up there and I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to know. I didn't want to tell y'all that I'm ready to read out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. Every time someone else signs me up, I'm just like, no. Like, Tarina got me when we came out here for Omar. That's why, like, when I went up there, I was like, thanks, Tarina.
Oh, because I was like, okay, come on, you're our next feature. I did, like, a thing. I didn't realize that was going on.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have called you out.
I had no idea she'd signed me up.
She double got you, and she sure didn't tell me.
It's actually funny. I heard Galveston shout it out, and I watched the original Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. George Romero. But they there's one part, it's when they're in the house and they first find the radio.
Yeah.
And they were like, the infections have spread to the Houston, Galveston, Texas area. And then he switches to another station. I was like, what?
Galveston, I was reading recently, and I didn't know this, but it's one of like the original like 10 cities of Texas or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And all sorts
it was
of
a
things.
huge hub. We actually talked about this on Lord Abraham's episode quite a bit. But this place was like huge. With the, if it wasn't for the 1900 storm and then the one that followed shortly after, this place would have been built a little more like Houston.
Hey, yo, real estate plug, hit me up. You want to see some Galveston history? Let me take you on an open house tour. Okay. Emily Coker, Save 1900 Realty. Thank you.
There's the plug right there. Hey, you.
We totally just listed this super cool, like, historical Galveston home that has, like, all these crazy, like, bachelor theories, and it's really, like, like the Rat Pack in presidential stays, and it's like really cool. And we were showing it, I was showing it, and somebody had came through like that had been there like as a kid delivering groceries.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was super, super dope.
That's it.
And he like told me all these crazy things, and I was like, I like this house so much. That's nuts.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send you an invoice for that plug right there.
You know what? You can leave in the whole like all nonchalant general scheme things, but just actually take out the save 1900s. So
Oh yeah.
I don't get some sort of weird shit, weird broker shit. Never mind. Give it back to me. I can plug on my stage. But we'll talk about some things here. So all of a sudden I'm like, that's not cool, Emily.
Well,
Don't
at least
call me from this show. I don't know.
well, at least there's a part of the show where I like to ask
all this shit.
the artists that are on, or the artisans that are on. That one of the reasons I made it is to hopefully, re-inspire some artists that might be feeling down on their art, or they're feeling it's not good enough, or maybe they put it down but they're feeling like they might need to pick it back up. Or what could you say from personal experience that might be able to help them to stay with their craft if they're having that problem?
So that's like it's the problem I was having recently. Still kind of having. Basically, like, I think the only thing I really have to say about it is, like, if it's something that genuinely makes you feel good, even though you're struggling in the moment, or maybe, like, you can't manage to put an end to something, or you can't manage to figure out exactly how you want your art to look or sound or feel, reach out to someone that you admire for what they do, and see if, like, maybe they have an idea that'll help you figure out your words or figure out the colors you want to use or anything. But don't give up on it. Like, it's nothing's worth giving up on.
Absolutely. Like I say, like breaks are great.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. Go out, and learn and experience and, in other places and pull from other sources. Because, you never know what rock you're going to kick over and find something useful,
Check it out, yeah.
I'm just saying, for real. Like
New Earth.
Well, it's something me and my dad and I, when we go hiking, like when I was a kid, he'd always say, like, always kick over the rock before you
We
just...
do that with our boys.
Or before you pick it up,
I used to do it because I had chickens.
Yeah.
I grew up with chickens, and we'd have to go out and move the rocks and pick worms up. Find worms. They're always under rocks and anything.
Yeah, cinder
flat and
blocks.
cold,
We used
all
to
the
do
stuff.
that, yeah.
And to feed them damn chickens. So that's really cool. But there's definitely a lot of metaphors to be said with it.
Yep.
I think, and that's what you were going for.
Yeah. Well, because, if you're just going to pick it up, put it in your pocket, there might be like a big-ass spider or something on it. You never know. There could be something that can hurt you.
I want to see that big, chunky boy spider. I want to see it.
Yeah,
I got all excited.
Cool.
I was like, we're talking about spiders.
But spiders are cool.
Yeah.
Well, spider's cool. Well, I'm talking more
I
so
gotta
of
stop
like...
my kids from, like, touching spiders. Don't do that. And they're like, it's great.
something poisonous or something harmful, because you never know, because a lot of people see something shiny or it looks cool, or maybe someone tells them some magical thing because they're smooth with words.
Boy,
Well, yeah.
it's mine. Like, it's gotta be with me.
Well, because, some people are, like, slick with words and they can talk to artists saying this and that and end up, like, screwing them over or things like that. You know what I mean? Kick over the rocks.
See this interpretation now.
Exactly. Kick it around a little bit before you pick it up. But I think it's really cool to, or I think it's always a good idea to, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed or saturated on it, put it down and come back to it.
I feel like it's important to, like, maybe sometimes when you're not as inspired to be producing yourself, that you make sure you're still, like, showing up. I talk about this a lot. Like, show up. Go and when you can and you feel like your being can handle it, go to an open mic still, go to a workshop, still kind of, like, partake on the other side of it. Maybe don't be so vocal, maybe don't participate, but still keep your head there, because I know a lot of people that sometimes write at open mics, and I was recently having the discussion with someone else today, someone who's going to be a feature soon for us, and she was like, sometimes I do this, and I don't know how everybody looks at it. And I'm like, I think it's great. Like, if that's whenever you're thinking of something and that's where, you feel that, I think you should channel it whenever you can. But definitely just always put yourself around it. I believe in really, like, submerging yourself. And if you don't have the mentality, or you're not there enough to, like, show up, make sure you're reading and listening, and more importantly, not just to like literature, but to the people and other writers and poets in your life. Like, I feel like you said, like, tap into somebody you know that, you know, might be able to help you or have some insight or encourage you or whatever you need from them. And the really cool thing about this community is they're all over, and they all think that it's just as non-plentiful as we think it is, but in actuality there's so many of us that are just kind of waiting to do that for each other. I guess it's like just getting up and being like, okay, hey, and then you get that awkward hey back, and everybody's like, okay, we'll hang out, we'll be awkward together. You're right, it's not so awful to ask.
Yeah. Oh, never be afraid to ask. You know, that's something I've learned the hard way, just missing out on some opportunities with the art and things 100%. Like that. You know, if and also that's a big thing in schools nowadays, I've noticed, because, you know, I'm still taking classes, so like whenever, like, nobody wants to ask a question or answer a question,
right?
Like, ever. Like, you know, when you sit, because I always sit in the front, because that forces me not to draw so much, because if I sit in the back, I will draw the entire time and not pay attention. I'm just honest. I don't fight my doodling. Like, that's my creative flow, so I don't fight it. So I have to put barriers on myself.
As you shouldn't,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah, I don't restrict that flow at all. So you know, I'd make myself sit in the front, so if I'm, you know, I feel that barrier of like, okay, they can see what I'm doing. So I don't want to be disrespectful by just blatantly not looking at them and just drawing the whole time.
And 9 times out of 10, you'll actually get something out of it anyways. And
oh yeah,
you're supposed
sitting
to
in the
be
front's
there,
awesome.
so just yeah.
Yeah,
I like to sit in the front everywhere.
Yeah, I just sit in the front and answer questions, because it's.
I feel like I
Why
retain
not?
more.
I actually like getting answers wrong, or just asking really stupid questions on purpose.
I'm not good at that. I don't
No,
like that.
well, I do that because there's a lot of people that actually have this
ridiculous.
question. Like I do this in class sometimes. I'll ask a question I already know the answer to.
So you just take one for the team?
Yeah.
Just create some dialogue, because nobody, like you said, I feel like that's like a thing, you know, like but I see it with younger kids, because I work with younger kids, and they're not asking any questions either, honestly. You know, I don't think everybody does this at all ages now, and I don't think there's as many questions that people want to ask.
I also
not
feel
as
like
much
there's like
talking in general, like even class is a foreign concept in comparison to everything that we're viewing and absorbing via whatever.
Well, because people are spending twice as much time watching videos than they are in classrooms, if not more multiples.
maybe it's just
Yeah,
like
but
a
would they
personal,
work?
but I think there's like a fear of like being wrong, or like
Yeah.
you know,
True, there is.
because I mean, when I was in school, I had teachers that made me feel terrible for like not knowing something or
Oh
not
my gosh.
understanding something. Yeah,
feel
like,
that.
it
I
was a
could
thing.
see that. I don't necessarily know. I don't know. I'm still just dealing with young kids. My kids aren't at, like, they're still at ages where in their classes it's pretty interactive, wrong or right. You know, you're okay. You're allowed to have those obstacles. I know that when I was in high school, I just had a thing about me where I was like there to just get it over with. I didn't attend like 3/4 of it, and that got me in a lot of like attendance trouble. But I passed everything, so I tried to only talk to teachers. I was constantly asking questions, and I was like, "Help me out!" Like, I'm a good student. But I went to Ball High, where shit's crazy, where like you can't learn, and you've got to be like really, if you're gonna pass,
Yeah.
you gotta ask.
Dude, that school's got some hella interesting statistics.
Well, I mean, I made it. People can make it, and I mean, I like my high school, and I have relationships from there that are never gonna go away. That are really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like my freshman year, homecoming week, every day there was a fire or a fight. Every day that week, we got called out to those parking lots, and I remember being like, "It's going down. Okay, that's fine. Whatever."
I had a friend that would pull the fire alarm when I was a freshman. He would just go do it
just
in the
do
middle
it,
of like classes.
compulsively?
Just to like fuck with them, I guess. Like, so then we'd be like in the middle of 7th period, and all of a sudden the alarms are going off, and everyone's like, "What? There wasn't a drill today."
At 30, I don't even want to jaywalk.
Oh no, I still do that. I
And,
gotta
like,
break some kind of rules.
When I do, I'm like, watch somebody in Galveston be like, "Hey, you jaywalk," you know, because cops aren't, you know, it's
Man,
a small town.
Some
I
of them are
feel
looking for something to do sometimes.
Yeah, you know, there's not a lot going on, and that's my point. I would
mean-
definitely be jaywalking and get, like, that's my luck.
It don't happen to me.
I'm on my way to my open
yeah.
mic, you're jaywalking.
If I'm on a skateboard, it'll happen to me because, like...
Still?
Dude, cops love to fuck with skateboarders.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
Still?
All
That's
cops,
still
yeah.
a thing?
Yeah, that's still a thing.
That's absolutely... Well, because, who's... Like, well, I mean, the cops' words is usually above yours in general, sometimes, most of the time. But, like, when you're just, like, a young dude or chick that skates...
What do you do with your body?
It's just, like... I don't know. It's funny. Like,
I think they just assume like you're a pothead and you're like doing something terrible.
I mean, they're not.
I'm really glad
too
that we're
far off
starting
from
to
that.
get to a point in our society where that's not a problem.
It's not, but
I mean,
but to
in my
cops it
society,
is.
it's never been a problem. Yeah, but even surprisingly enough, not so much. It's like others, like if you're in Austin and other places in Texas, there's all sorts of stipulations that are changing, and I think that really
Austin's chill with skaters.
is happening.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, it's breaking out. But in actuality, like when I don't know, that's like a whole other
Well,
show. Like politics, funding, what goes to what and why, demographics, like statistics.
I mean, it's definitely nowhere close to
It's
everybody,
really unnecessary
but like
for it to be illegal like that, and I think that's like a come to slowly but surely. And I thought
There's
Texas
so
would be
many
the
other things
last
happening.
state. Yeah, there's so much shit happening. Like, why are we worried about it?
Exactly. I think the open mindedness is spreading. I mean, it's definitely not everybody, but I think it's like I meet more people that are open minded to
I know a
wicked ideas.
realtor lady
than
that's done
a lot of people.
pharmaceuticals for 40 years. She just got out of it.
Yep.
And she got licensed, so she's selling houses, and on the side she started third party networking for a CBD company, and she like is all about it. And because she's got a pharmaceutical background, it like obviously reflects really well for her to be speaking to it. But she's on a whole nother generation level and killing it.
Yeah.
You know what that tells me? All them people smoke pot. Like, come on with it. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to not be tapping into that at some point, just even funding wise. Like, what's going on?
Well, to me, it's just like
And
it's
the
just
numbers
like
are there
drinking.
from
It's
other
normal as
states.
drinking.
But drinking's so much worse.
It's
for
worse.
You. Like, it's so bad for you.
Yeah, it's just there with like a recreational thing. So I'm like
They just spent so long demonizing cannabis.
Well, when I was a kid, my dad would take me to these
so much
shows.
time
Everybody's
into
doing this
it,
shit,
and now
so it
it's
doesn't
like
matter.
falling through, like trying to make
Finally.
it this thing, and it's kind of outrageous, like to
I
go
would
from like
much
reefer
rather.
madness to this, like where we are.
Yeah.
I love watching those videos sometimes,
I'm
though,
all
like
about
just
that
for
shit.
like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's always
nostalgia
funny.
from someone else's
They
time.
are kind of funny.
I'm a big fan of like just old films in general and like how they're put together and the aesthetics of it all. That's cool, huh, Devlin? That's really cool. I think so.
It's super cool.
Man.
Yeah. Well, since we're approaching that time for
Yeah,
the
you're gonna have to
stage time.
mash this shit up to something because
Oh yeah, no, I'll mash
it's
it
like
up.
we're all over.
Yeah, no, we're all. It's all right. It's all right.
It's
I'll cut it
nice.
down. That's good. Man, my voice gets really high right there.
I always try not to stay this close, and I'm wondering, is it like better if I do? Should I be here the whole time?
No, I mean,
Thank God.
it's in and out. But anyway, so where can we find you online if you have anything online for poetry or art?
It's not really. I mean, I don't think I really have anything like dedicated to poetry. I should, but I do have my personal Instagram where I've started to share things, and my username is just at UHHLEEASE. So it's my name sounded out. It's just difficult.
Say it for us, girl. Say it.
So it's Alyss.
Alyss.
Lee, so how you spell it one more time? UHH.
LEEASE. So Alyss.
Oh,
Like-
okay.
Yeah, it's dumb.
No.
That's creative.
You can't say things like that. Take it out.
I came up with it in high school and it just stuck.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's never going to go away considering it is, pronunciation of
Yeah,
your-
and I've tried to
your
change
birth
my
name.
name to like my like alternate persona and it's taken. And I'm just like, wow, I hate everyone.
I got like 8 Instagram poet pages, girl. I feel you. We don't know who we are.
Well, so do you? So
I'm not like trying to.
are you also very active with the Right About Now at Avant?
Shout out.
Shout out
Yeah, I think
Avant-Garde.
for the most part, I'm
They're
usually
mostly-
there all the time. So even when I don't want to drive out there, I'm
Preach.
gonna end up there.
Well, if you hear that, everyone, that is.
You say it all the time. You did something today on Facebook, and Amir was like, "This is the most Alyss response ever."
Because I'm like,
And I've yet to comment, and I was like, "Oh my god, reading this, no lie at all."
because I was like,
I might come,
from-
maybe,
I was like, yeah, I
For
might be
sure.
there, kind of. Who knows?
and she's gonna be there.
Oh yeah.
Well, for everyone that's it's at Avant Garden, Houston, Texas, on Montrose.
Wednesdays, 7:30.
Wednesdays, 7:30, right about now. What do they call it? The Poetry Night, Poetry Slam? What do you?
It's a Right About Now open mic.
Right About Now open
night
mic.
every
Sweet.
Wednesday.
Sweet.
You can find them online as well. That's Right, WRITE.
Yes, right with a W. Well, wonderful. Well, Alyss, thank you for coming on.
Thanks
We're
for
wishing
letting
you-
me ramble.
Yeah. Hey, that's what we do.
Much rambling.
So much ramble. It's fun though. It's fun. Well,
About it.
well, oh shit, fucking phone.
You can say bye to me.
Huh?
You can
Oh,
say bye to me.
say bye to you. Well, I'm gonna do a lot of chopping on this episode.
Too much. You're just getting used to it.
I'm getting used to
just
it.
here.
Well, thank you, Emily Lopez, for coming on.
You're very welcome.
Yep. We'll see you in 2
sir.
weeks.
Dr. McPodcast.
Dr. Vaughn podcast.
Podcast. See, look, it's been a while.
Thank you.
I'm rusty. 2 weeks.
Oh, do you have any shout outs? You want to shout anybody out?
Shout them out.
Live on the internet?
Just anybody.
I would, but I won't because I don't think anyone deserves it.
Give us
And by
that
I
insult
mean-
you don't think you have.
And by that I mean Omar ain't shit because he didn't ride out here with me. So fuck him.
Shout out Omir Ahmed. So one of our past guests. All right, you guys. Artists in Depth podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, leave us some constructive criticism. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Everything, wherever you listen. Be sure to hit us up on our social media. Let us know if you have any artists you want to come on and want to check out or hear or even sit in and interview with them. I'm trying to talk to everybody.
Dialogue.
Oh, yeah. All right, you guys. We are out. You've been listening to the Artists in Depth podcast, motivating creative minds through artistic exploration. If you like what you're hearing, please be sure to give us a rating or a positive review. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at vonpatrickarts@gmail.com. That is VONPATRICK@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking to you.